You're watching KSG News, where you get all the latest updates from across the globe to help with your exam preparations. We begin with updates related to GS Paper 3. This is in connection with defense technology. For the first time in the country, Indian Space Research Organization or the ISRO has successfully demonstrated free space quantum communication over a distance of 300 meters. A number of key technologies were developed indigenously to accomplish this major feat, which included the use of indigenously developed Navig receiver for time synchronization between the transmitter and receiver modules and gimbal mechanism systems instead of bulky large aperture telescopes for optical alignment. Now, what does this mean? The quantum key distribution technology or the QKD technology underpins quantum communication technology that ensures unconditional data security by virtue of the principles of quantum mechanics, which is not possible with the conventional encryption systems. The conventional crypto systems used for data encryption rely on the complexity of mathematical algorithms, whereas the security offered by quantum communication is based on the law of physics. Therefore, quantum cryptography is considered as future-proof, since no future advancements in the computational power can break quantum crypto systems. The free space QKD was demonstrated at the Space Applications Center, Ahmedabad, between two line-of-sight buildings within the campus. The experiment was performed at night in order to ensure that there is no interference of the direct sunlight. The experiment is a major breakthrough towards ISRO's goal of demonstrating satellite-based quantum communication, where ISRO is gearing up to demonstrate the technology between two Indian ground stations. And now shifting focus to GS Paper 2. The UN Human Rights Council in Geneva on the 23rd of March adopted a resolution against Sri Lanka's rights record in a setback to Colombo, which made determined efforts to garner international support ahead of the voting. The resolution, titled Promotion of Reconciliation, Accountability and Human Rights in Sri Lanka, was adopted by the UNHRC after 22 members out of 47 voted in favor of it. 11 members voted against the resolution. Now, what does this mean? India was among the 14 countries which abstained from voting. Sri Lanka described the draft resolution as unwarranted, unjustified, and in violation of the relevant articles of the United Nations Charter. India urged that the government of Sri Lanka to carry forward some process of reconciliation, address the aspirations of Tamil community, and continue to engage constructively with the international community to ensure that the fundamental freedoms of human rights of all its citizens are fully protected. Sri Lanka was earlier defeated at 3 consecutive resolutions at the United Nations Rights Body when Gotabaya's elder brother and incumbent Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was the country's president between 2012 and 2014. The government of Gotabaya Rajapaksa had officially withdrawn from co-sponsoring the previous resolution undertaken by the previous government. It had called for an international investigation into alleged war crimes committed by both the government troops and the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam or the LTTE during the final phase of the near 3-decade-long civil war that ended in May 2009. Sri Lanka was assured of support from China, Russia, and several Muslim countries, including Pakistan. The resolution calls upon the Sri Lankan government to ensure prompt, thorough, and impartial investigation, if warranted, prosecution of all alleged crimes relating to human rights violations and serious violations of international human rights law. The resolution has been tabled by core group on Sri Lanka consisting of the United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Malawi, Montenegro, and North Macedonia at the 46th session of the UNHRC in Geneva. In some more updates related to GS Paper 2, to help prevent spread of the coronavirus at public places in India, scientists at CSIO Chandigarh have invented UV ducts that can kill the virus in the air, along with air sampling and viral load testing techniques that can check the viral load in the air. The 3 inventions were placed before the Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan at CSIR-CSIO on the 21st of March 2021. Now, what does this mean and what is the significance of this? The UVC air duct disinfection system V1.06 is designed as a retrofit into existing air ducts. It consists of a slide mechanism, regulated UV light source and sensors. The device can be fit into ducts by minor modifications. The UV duct system will be installed in the existing AC ducts, and that is how it will disinfect the air. It can be used in shopping malls, movie halls and other public places where the system is centrally air-conditioned. Virus and bacteria can be killed by applying controlled UVC light. It was said that UVC light source emits light having high energy photons that kills the virus and bacteria. It is used for sampling air from a large volume of space like hospitals, markets, schools, bus stands, railway stations where there is a possibility of virus and bacterial infection. The system is calibrated to flow air at specific rates through specially designed filters. Various other instruments and systems including electrostatic sanitization sprayers, contactless sanitizers, ultraviolet chambers, ventilators and foot-operated taps, etc. developed by CSIR-CSIO were also displayed. We go back to GS Paper 3. This update is in connection with economy. The Supreme Court on the 23rd of March refused to interfere with the government and the Reserve Bank of India's loan moratorium policy and declined to extend the 6-month loan moratorium period. The apex court said that the waiver of complete interest is not possible as it affects depositors. Banking stocks rallied after the Supreme Court verdict was out. SBI, IndusInd Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank and HDFC Bank were up between 2% and 2.5%. Now, what does this mean? The apex court refused to interfere with the centre's and RBI's decision to not extend the loan moratorium beyond 31st of August last year, saying it is a policy decision. A bench headed by Justice Ashok Bhushan said that the top court cannot do a judicial review of the centre's financial policy decision unless it is malified and arbitrary. The apex court said it cannot interfere with the government's decision to fix priorities for relief during the pandemic, which has affected all across the country. The bench said this in its verdict on a batch of pleas filed by various trade associations, including from real estate and power sectors, seeking an extension of the loan moratorium period and other reliefs in view of the pandemic. A bench headed by Justice Ashok Bhushan had reserved its verdict on the batch of pleas on the 17th of December last year. The centre had earlier submitted before the top court that if it were to consider waiving interest on all the loans and advances to all categories of borrowers for the 6-month moratorium period announced by RBI in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, then the amount foregone would be more than 6 lakh crore rupees. Going into some background details of this, the centre has promulgated an emergency credit-linked guarantee scheme of 3 lakh crore rupees, providing additional credit at a lower rate of interest with a 100% government guarantee and no fresh collateral. The scheme has been extended with higher financial limits to 27 COVID-19 impacted sectors, including restaurant and hotel sectors. The RBI on the 27th of March issued the circular, which allowed lending institutions to grant a moratorium on payment of installments of term loans falling due between 1st of March and 31st of May 2020 due to the pandemic. Later, the moratorium was extended till 31st August this year. That's it in this edition of KSG News. Stay tuned for more such short, concise and informative videos. KSG India proudly announces the commencement of centre batches for offline coaching at Delhi, Vijayanagar, Delhi, Rajendra Nagar, Jaipur, Bhopal and Indore centres, making sure students' health and safety and also the targeted approach towards UPSC Civil Services examination preparation. Visit www.ksgindia.com for batch queries.